ScienceFair.ky. The Rotary Central Science Fair, just around the corner, Saturday, April 13th. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Thank you all very much for joining us on another terrific Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Monday, Sunday. It doesn't matter the day, because here in Radio Cayman and Talk Today, we want to make it that you are invited and welcome. And we have the excellent company, only for a few short minutes though, of Miss Shakina Wishaw. She's going to be joining us, right?
Yes, sir.
Shaq in the house. Well, we're going to do our best, not only to be energized and enthused, but to put forward that thing which is good and getting better. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome, and thanks very much, for always this opportunity. And if I might say publicly, the excellent company of Shakina Bush, you as an educator, the engineering mind, but that facilitator, that individual who, through your very example and actions, inspire others, right? And that is what is helpful, I think, in this society for us to reflect on, that we affect and impact people. Are we consciously doing it? And if so, are we aware that it could be negative? And are we conscious of trying to make sure it is as positive?
Yes.
Makes a difference, right?
It sure does.
Well, thankfully, you make it without any effort, or at least you make it look effortlessly. You do it with a smile, always positive.
Always. Listen, I always tell people I am a product of my village. I had so many people, even if it's just a small word once in my life, that have made me who I am today. I'm appreciative of it, and I will always be. And it'll always hold every single one of those people near and dear to my heart. And I'm at a stage now where it's my turn to be the village. So whatever it may take, I'm going to do it.
As we talk about, jubilate, I mean, even that word alone, jubilate. I remember when Pastor Randy first brought it to me, the concept immediately resonated, but I did not know of that particular iteration, as it were, right? Mm-hmm. But as we talk about that, just what you shared, I look at teachers in particular. I look at very, very public individuals, and there's an expectation from us that they must always be happy. They must always be available and accessible. They must always be pleasant. But God forgive me that I know I'm mistaken and I interpret it wrongly, but I'm thinking sometimes of Christ, and he's walking through the village, and they got to be a bunch of vagabonds, right? And I'm not talking about the guys who don't have no work or no food. I'm talking about the guys who are the publicans and the politicians and the other, we call them Pharisees, but let's call them the pastors. And he look at them and go, boy, who do you think you're fooling? And I'm sure sometimes he would say, there, by the grace of God, I could go up to him and slap you one side. And maybe he did it in the temple. And I'm not saying that to be in the stand-up comic, but I'm asking, when we see that, do we have grace within us, right? Do we just stop and, you know what?
Breath. Yeah.
God help me, because I likely. Are we conscious and considerate? Are we so present that we understand that, you know what? Sometimes you need to step aside. And then people like you and others, you go, how do you do it? I won't call her name because I know I get in trouble with everybody else. But I sometimes ask, I wonder what would she do? And then I say, what? Let me do the opposite. Anyway, enough of my pontification for today. Miss Shakino, other than the Game of Dominoes, why are we here?
Well, back here again today to talk a bit about Jubilate.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful program. We work with students in the Eastern Districts. At the moment, we cater to 7 of the government schools, 2 high schools, and the rest are primary. And we have a fundraising concert coming up. Our students are amazing. And the whole point of me coming on today is just in support of them and getting people in the seats, helping us out purchasing tickets. We're working with the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman, and they've been phenomenal. We had a concert last year, and it was absolute amazing concert. And we're looking to up that again this year. We have some great pieces. The theme is an ode to classical elegance. And I think the wow factor is, we have our high school students that are Juby seniors now. They came through our primary school program, and now they stayed on. We modified the program for them to stay on because we still want to have a part in their lives, and they find Juby to be their home. So we love that, and we don't want to ever take that from them. And it's great to see those high school students and they do their thing, and you see the progression that they've made over the years with us. But the wow factor is always the younger ones. Yeah. You get an 8-year-old child with a violin or a cello in their hand, you go, oh my word, that child's playing. You see them playing together in trios and quartets, and you're just kind of blown back.
Well, for those who missed the interview over Christmas with you and our colleague Raymond Singh, I enjoyed that, right? And it wasn't because I was on vacation, not at work. It wasn't that at all. And as much pain as I was in with my shoulder, listening to you and Ray have that banter, and he getting to almost extract from you certain little things about your musical accomplishments. What resonated was the fact that here is an opportunity to continue, as you said, that connection. And I won't say, in your still tentative years, your tender years, but being that village, being that example, being that rock sometimes for your children. I'm hopeful that as parents, we don't subscribe to any of the nonsense that I see about the place from the extent that we disconnect and detach from our children. Give them space to play, but be there for them.
Yes.
Whether they're 15 years old or they're 51, if you're still alive as a parent, that is your child.
Yep.
Chastise them, discipline them, direct them, counsel them. Be there for them.
Yes, that is exactly what it is. We're creating a community around our young people that are in our program. And for those who may not understand the nature of what it does, Jubilate over the years has been seen as the best kept secret.
Yeah.
And it's a very selective program. So we look at students that struggle emotionally, socially, or academically, or a number of all 3 of those things. And we bring them into an environment where they start to make friends. That becomes a network around them where they may not have in school had any friends.
Yeah.
We ensure that they're fed. They get opportunity to be a part of some spiritual enrichment. So we're there. We get to go through Bible scripture with them. We go through, some lessons in the Bible, and we make that relative to life for them. We feed them. And I think one of the highlights is that we provide each and every single student with their own instrument. And a part of our program is once they go through that primary school phase with us and they learn, they get access to counseling, tutoring, and they get access to high quality level teaching, right? Music teachers, which if you were to pay for a private music lesson would cost. And it's at no cost to our families.
See, this is where, and
they keep their instruments.
Yeah.
It becomes their personal instrument.
Yeah. This is something that I recognize we become very passionate about something. People may use a different word. Sometimes the way we present ourselves, it is so emotive that maybe people don't get it, right? Put that aside. But every single younger person, every single child, is at risk. Every single child needs a mentor, tutor, right? Just like that young professional, lawyer, accountant, or electrician or plumber, having someone else who's in that sector guide you, not just how to do the job, but be there as a sounding board. It's key, right? And we're losing that. And I wonder, just generally, what is your take on our community and somehow pigeonholing children, somehow taking and say, well, this is just for that group, only because they come from this environment, as opposed to what I see Jubilate, all encompassing, all inclusive. You look at them and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are wonderful programs out there that allow for students to have that extra support. But we particularly look at students that may not necessarily qualify for those other ones. A child that may not be as welcomed into the band because they have, academic or slight behavioral issues, or that they're just so quiet in the back of the room that they're forgotten. And it happens, I was a teacher for 8 years. Yeah. So when you see that, you wonder, you want them to be a part of something, you worry. Yeah. And parents do that too, and we have phenomenal parents. Our parents are so supportive, and one of the things that I've been appreciative in getting this concert off the ground with Rotary Club of Grand Cayman, is that they have made a huge push to help those families that don't necessarily have access to a ticket. So we got a lot of donors or people that are saying, hey, we'll purchase a ticket, we can't come, but I want you to give it to a family. So now you have parents that have already bought their tickets, but now grandparents are also coming because of those wonderful people that donate to us, Right. We have siblings that are making an effort to come, and we want to pack the seats. These are students that they may not get on that track to have, the whole into primary and into secondary going on, or they don't have all of that crowd cheering for them, or they may not get on that football field or that basketball court to have those crowds cheering for them. But here's an opportunity. They're in their suits, they're in their bow ties, and they're all dressed up in their skirts and their collar shirts, and they get out there and there's a crowd of people waiting for them to be stars. Yeah. And that is magnificent. And
once we are there, they're cheerleaders and champions, right?
Of course.
We can do that. Now we have the quick break, Ms. Shakina. I know this fantastic listener, this fantastic mother, and she says, just let you know, I'm sitting there listening to this lovely girl. I don't want to say she's old, but she's my age, so I won't say that. So she can say that to you. Thank you to all who listen, but to that one in particular, because that's what this is about. Right? So when we come back, go and tell us more about the program and how we can get tickets and how together we can make a meaningful impact in the lives of our young people.
Yes, sir.
12:45, Michigan gets back to work. I mean, this is just, work on work. And then DJ Doctor is going to come in for a couple of minutes. 1 o'clock, Michael Miles will be our guest. And then 2 p.m., the Chief Superintendent, Brad Ebanks, together with the Police Media Officer, Ms. Jody Ann, will be our guest. Then at 3 o'clock, we're going fishing. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have our very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
It's Digicell's 20th birthday bash, and you're invited. We are giving away 20 phones for 20 years. Win an iPhone or a Samsung smartphone as part of our anniversary celebration. Simply spend $20 or more at Digicell, or be an active postpaid customer, and you could be our lucky winner. It's our way of saying thank you for 20 incredible years of connection and support from our amazing customers like you. Don't miss out on this epic celebration. Go to your nearest Digicell store today and join the party. Digicell, better connected.
Water Authority Cayman gives back this World Water Day. On Friday, the 22nd of March, our offices will close at 11 a.m. so that our team can spend the afternoon volunteering across the community. For emergency assistance, customers can call our helpline in Grand Cayman at 946-4357 or in Cayman Brac at 948-1403.
The Cayman Islands Gender Affairs Unit invites the public to join us on Friday, March 22nd at the Glass House Lawn on Elgin Avenue for the Women in Agriculture Farmers Market from 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Come and support women-owned or operated farms and related businesses, showcasing their agricultural-based products. From fresh produce to homemade goods, your purchases will contribute to the economic empowerment of women in agriculture, making a real difference in our community. Mark your calendars, spread the word, and join us in celebrating the remarkable women shaping our agricultural sector. To register as a vendor, visit frc.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And if I can, through Shakina Bush, thank her, individual and people like her. I would pray that you never ever have a second in your life that is not joyful, where there's any problems. But then I realized that Christ walked the face of the earth and he must have seen a lot of problems. So that's probably not true. But I thank you because, like many, you purposefully say, listen, you know what, there's a challenge, but unless you're willing to come and help me carry and back this bucket of water, you're not going to bother to put it on them, right? And that is a gifting, so thanks. So I wanted to say it in a certain way, but I know she'll feel a way. So jubilate, right? For those who don't know it, two things. Quickly tell us what it is. You shared it earlier, and then of course the wonderful production coming up the 27th.
Yeah.
So I know today is someday, so it's sometime next week.
Yes.
But you tell us when.
So Jubilate is an after-school intervention program where we identify students that struggle socially, emotionally, or academically, and we use music as the vehicle to help that student, that child, get access to tutoring, academic support, spiritual enrichment. They get access to music. They get their own instrument. They get to play, and then they're surrounded by children from other schools that have similar struggles, and we create a family there for them. You know, we get parents involved. We have wonderful parents, and they push for us. You know, they pull with us, and it's just a whole community of people that just genuinely want to ensure that our children don't fall through the cracks.
I was trying to think back as you shared that, Shakina, when Pastor Rania first broached this with me. I know it's been, well, put it this way, it's been a couple of weeks. I think he said this is a program that either originated in South America or is very dominant. I'm not sure if it's one and the same, but
yes, it comes from the El Sistema program over there, and it's a wonderful program. Right. Hoping at some point in time I'll get a chance to kind of see that
firsthand.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
and there was a thing. Thank you for saying that. And there's no script here. There's no note, right? There's a thing that resonates in that when I look at the Cayman context. I had a fantastic conversation the last season. The only thing that I thought would have made it better is instead of the guy being on the end of this device, we were sitting across the table and breaking bread. And the notion to look beyond our borders and
Mhm.
look beyond the region, and to look sometimes in places you don't know.
Mhm.
The system of program, the fact that you take in music, and Shakespeare was told, or his creator was saying, if music be the fruit of love, play on.
Mhm.
The more I look at that, it isn't just the physical playing and singing and dancing, is what life is as a result of the joy that
Yes.
fellowship brings.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, now is Jubilate only, well, where is it? If we want to be a part of it, you
Mhm.
talked about the 7 government schools, but,
Yeah.
where does it take place and when?
So we are based out of the Baptist Church down on Pedro Road.
Mhm.
So that's our home currently, and
Mhm.
it's a wonderful place, nice space and everything for
Yeah.
our students. And they're picked up after school. They're
Uh-huh.
brought to the church. We feed them. We have fellowship with them, and then they're off to a series of classes over 3 or 4 periods.
Mhm.
So it's a nice environment.
Mhm.
And it's just welcoming for our kids, and what better place than to continue to promote Christ and the beliefs and what we're about. One of our pillars is right there at the church,
Yeah.
But it's wonderful. Our young people just are constantly growing. And to be a part of it, what we usually do is work with schools, and we go through the counselors or the SENCOs, and we kind of identify, because not every child is a perfect fit for this type of program, right?
Mhm.
We do have instruments, and that's a bit sensory, those type of things. So
Mhm.
we're careful on how we place students to ensure that they can succeed. We don't
Uh-huh.
want to ever put a student or a child in a frustrational zone.
Yeah.
So it's about ensuring that every child, and we're trying to expand into the western districts. Currently we're catering to the eastern. We're trying to expand into the BRAC. That is our vision. That is our goal. And we want to be able to have an impact in every single school at
Mhm.
some point in time. But
Yeah.
obviously that takes time. It takes funding and those type of things to expand.
Yeah.
You need staffing and all that type of stuff. But what we're doing now is just that, fundraising, so that we can have a few more options next year to be able to look at what our opportunities are.
And you run in the school year,
Mhm.
ages...
8 currently to about 14, 15.
Okay.
It's typically primary school students, but we have modified a program
Yeah.
for our high school students because, like I said again, we definitely didn't want to lose our babies. Our initial Juby juniors went to Juby seniors, but it's great because having them around, for those Juby juniors, what we call them, you start to see role models emerge, and that's what we want. We want to see positive role models.
See, that's the thing. Is it then that the schools, you talk about speaking to the school counselors and like, is it then the schools select and send?
Yeah, so they have an idea of what could work for that student, and then they go through an application process with us.
Okay.
So it's through the school counselor. The counselor then contact us, and then we go through with the parent to see if it's the best fit or not.
I reflect and respect and recognize that as the demands on schools, the counselors, the teachers, and all the resources grow, we want a lot from them, and we rely on their expertise and experience and interactions. But could a parent, a coach, or somebody else say, listen, little Johnny, little Susie,
could benefit. Yes.
How does that person?
So they can contact me anytime, or our organization at info@jubilate.ky.
That's Jubilate.
Yes, sir.
Kind of like the coffee thing, but with the little Juby. So Jubilate.
So info@jubilate.ky.
Yeah.
Once they leave their contact information, I'll get back to them, and we can talk about enrollment. We usually particularly do enrollment at the start of the school year, just so the child, because we have concerts, we set targets. We're trying to make all of the values that our students learn while with us lifelong targets, things that they can actually take in, and those routines and behaviors into being an adult.
Other than heavy metal and maybe dance hall, because I don't think either one of them are music, I listen and love in its attempt at a melody, right? I came to the very, very first presentation. I sat and I was in awe, knowing that other than the instructors, the rest of the students were the first time. Actually, even some of them, they didn't even know such an instrument existed, right? Some of the students came from the region and have been transferred here, their parents moving and like. Some grew up here and are generational, but they're young. Then I came to the concert before last, and I just, came in, stood in the back and looked. That very first concert, you could see the promise, the potential. The second one that I saw, yet more advanced, more instruction, but amazing.
The growth.
The growth and the take up. So I said to ask in closing, to remind us how to get tickets, but volunteers and you want to expand to the BRAC and you want to go across to the districts. Can we help? I mean, how can we help?
Just reach out to us and we can sit and discuss, what our goals and our plans are, what short-term and long-term goals look like for us. And we can always find a way to get people in. For us, it's about creating and supporting our students, creating that environment that was always fostering support for our students and the community. Like I said, we all play a part in the village, so I'm hoping that people, reach out to us about tickets, reach out to the Rotary Club for tickets. The concert is on March 27th. It's at the Harkwell Theatre at 6 p.m. The students will be there for about an hour and a half, but I'm sure you're going to love it. There's going to be a mix of classical music. We have some theme music going on there from some movies as well. And then we have, of course, we could never leave out, which we always do because it's a part of our culture and heritage, our own folk music that's going to be in it. And it's just a blast to watch our children dive in and actually love and enjoy what they're doing with their instruments.
That last part where you talked about, us appreciating our own history, heritage, and our own music. What I think, and I'm speaking to those of us who are Caymanian, whether we define that generationally or by some document, if you don't know, recognize, and reflect on who you are, you will easily discredit it, or you'll easily have it relegated to the margins, right? And folk music
is a huge part of who we are.
Yeah, but we need to make sure that the emphasis is on our own folk songs, because there are a lot of songs that
don't belong to us.
Yeah, and we just can't take it on board, not that we shouldn't perform other things.
Yes, sir.
But you just can't ignore your own.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes I realize my passion for promoting, the things that are uniquely Caymanian may be misconstrued by my own. I love a cassava cake. I'll eat poon, right? But it's not cassava cake.
It's not.
All right? And so I say that to share that the more of us volunteer, with you and organizations like Jubilante, the more we get to appreciate the richness of our fabric.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you.
Thank you,
so, info@jubilate.ky.
Yes, sir.
They can call, call me. I'll direct them. At the Harkwell next week.
The Harkwell, that's next Wednesday, 27th of March. 6 p.m. If you want to get tickets, just send us an email. We'll arrange how to get the tickets to you and payments sorted out. If you don't think that you'll be able to attend, still want to support the cause, just, send us an email. Let us know. You can donate a ticket or two to families.
Yes.
Like I said, the more people in front of our children to support them, it just proves what we're telling them each and every day, that you have a community of people that genuinely care about you as a person, your growth, your well-being, the future.
Yeah, man. I think as any player, performer, or even politician would say, you can't speak to an empty stand.
Yeah.
If there's people in the audience, you play much better. I think even Pele would have performed, not as well if there was only nobody in the stands, right?
Yeah.
Well, Shakina, always a pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate you all.
Go safe and continue to excel.
Yes, sir. God bless. Thank you.
Amen. We're going to pause, and very one DJ Doctor has promised that he'll give me a couple minutes of his time, so we're hoping to hear what he's going to say when he comes in the studio. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
In life, the more you have, the more you have to lose.
The more you love, the more you worry.
The more people rely on you, the more you have on your mind.
I have peace of mind,
knowing that whoever I care about
is protected by the very best.
With Sagicor Life of the Cayman Islands, you'll have critical illness coverage and life insurance to help you protect what matters most. Call 949-8211 for more information.
It's Digicel's 20th birthday bash, and you're invited. We are giving away 20 phones for 20 years. Win an iPhone or a Samsung smartphone as part of our anniversary celebration. Simply spend $20 or more at Digicel or be an active postpaid customer, and you could be our lucky winner. It's our way of saying thank you for 20 incredible years of connection and support from our amazing customers like you. Don't miss out on this epic celebration. Go to your nearest Digicel store today and join the party. Digicel, better connected.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Hey there, K-Man. Have a few minutes to spare? Your Ministry for Housing has just launched the public survey for the Cayman Islands Housing Policy and Strategic Plan. We are all about making our island home even better. We need your help. It's your thoughts and ideas that will shape our housing policies for the future. Your voice matters, and it's easy to get involved. Just visit cihousingplan.org and let your voice be heard. Plus, you could catch some cool gift cards just for sharing your ideas. Don't miss out. Open through April 16th. Head to cihousingplan.org or go to the ministry's Facebook, Instagram, X, or LinkedIn now and be a part of the conversation. Your input matters more than you know. Let's make Cayman's housing future brighter. Together, your voice, your future. Take the survey today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. It's good to work with great people, and when they will be publicly acknowledged that, hey, I work with him, not too bad. Well, we don't work at Mango Tree in other places that they talk, but how are you?
I am great. How you doing?
Listen, man, even if I wasn't doing good, I would say I am, because I will be. But I am so thankful I am.
Okay.
I am that I am, but I am.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on the panel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's just saying, thanks for coming in and chatting. Thanks for doing, because as Shakina was here before, the more that we introduce people to music and they become part of the fraternity, as it were, there are future performers and the like, but there are also people who, if you look at history, one of the few things that have continued is music.
Correct.
Right? And music can unify, it can invigorate, and music sometimes can personify. Right, so those like you who perform but also who produce helps us to get to a space where we can go and enjoy it. Now, I say this to ask, is it now because I have this sort of mindset? I like a more sensible, mature space where I can go, I can relate to what's being performed, I can enjoy it as much as I want, and I don't need a riff-raff, and as Miss Lucille Seymour talks about the yaga-yaga. So I like what you're doing, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, once again, good afternoon. This is Doctor here. I must say that I'm a connoisseur. I've learned to lean more on. I guess the older you get, the more you appreciate music.
Yeah.
And there's a certain type of music that we're not seeing as much of anymore.
Mm.
And there's a lot of promoters and there's a lot of events, and you got different tiers of demographic of music lovers, right? So this genre of music, which is more of the 80s, 70s, is kind of something that I appreciate a lot, and and I think is fading out.
Right.
And I've been leaning towards this for quite some time. So this upcoming performance, which will be happening Saturday, which is an annual event we call Spring Fest, it's pretty much catered to that type of audience, which is a mature crowd. Music from anyway from the 70s to 90s. In the past, we've done like Tanya Stevens. We've done some Love and Dare. That kind of old school vibe. So when it comes to music like that, this setup, this coming Saturday is pretty nice because it's you have a female. She's never been here. A female performer, Judy Boucher.
Yeah.
She's very well loved in places like the coast of Central America, from Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Honduras, Belize, and a lot of people here. I've learned that even in Africa, like a lot of tickets that are being sold, Africans are buying because she's big down there.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that even though, if I may use the term, the more mature audience, those of us who will remember the music of the 70s and 80s, right?
Yeah.
But even our children and grandchildren, now it's probably because of memes, they actually know some of the songs.
Yeah.
And I thought, how do you know that song? I was speaking to a fellow who is a fraction of my age, and he was like, how do you know that? But it's because I think it's good music.
Correct.
And for Saturday night, I mean, how do we get tickets? Where's the venue? What's the time?
The venue is at the Mango Tree, outdoor setting. It's be transformed a bit. So, there's seating, limited seating, and then there's VIP tables that include seating, food, and some drinks. Tickets can be bought at the Mango Tree and also online at caymanevents.co. But I would like to give away a ticket right now if we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hand delivered?
All right. Let's do it.
Well, we got 5 minutes, and if you join Doc on the Mango Tree on Saturday night, Judah Boucher and Entourage, I mean, because you got some other good people coming from.
Lord Laro, I was trying to get him on the phone here just now, but he said he was in the middle of something. So hopefully tomorrow or
he posted. He's not quite sure how to answer the phone. That's what it was. Don't tell me I said that. So you want to give away a ticket?
Yeah.
You decide.
Saturday night.
All right. Okay. What's the qualification to get a ticket? Let me see if I can hit up my peeps. So we're gonna see. He's calling now.
Yeah.
All right. So a ticket for Saturday night. What are you gonna do to get it? Yeah.
I don't know. I guess anyone that could call in and give me that experienced his last show or one of his shows from back in the 80s, or we can easily make it a little simpler. If you could just tell me just call in and tell me where he was born.
Oh, okay.
And that's pretty simple. What?
One of our listeners, right? She messages and says, "Oh, we love Judah Boucher."
Yeah.
I mean, there's a dancing and another icon and thing. I'm thinking, I should tell this girl, you're not that young, stay down. We got a call, Doc.
We got a call.
All right.
Let's
hey, welcome. DJ Doctor and Sterling on the air. We're having some fun. What do you say? Welcome.
Yes. What was the question?
So the question is, what is Sterling's favorite chocolate? No, that's not the question. Doc, what's the question?
Where was Lord Laro born? Where is he from?
In Clampton Bay, Trinidad.
Okay, there you go. What's your name, miss?
I'm Esther.
All right, Esther. Have you ever been to one of Lord Laro's shows back in the day in Cayman?
More likely I did.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was there. I'm old now,
Ouch.
All right.
Ouch.
Well, congratulations, Miss Esther. We're gonna. You mind if you give us your last name, or we
Yeah.
I'm Lois.
Yeah, I was gonna say just before you disconnect, right? We got a ticket. Okay, so Paul is gonna take your information, and you. No, I was gonna do something, but that mightn't work.
I'm going to be disconnected in 2 minutes to say.
Okay, no, you hold on. Paul, get the details, and the ticket will be here for you. Okay.
All right. Congrats.
Congrats, man. And Saturday night at the Mango Tree.
Yeah.
And Lord Laro, I mean, even me love it.
Yeah, man.
No, tickets otherwise, you have to get them online. You can get
I
them.
mean, if you tune into Radio Cayman between today and tomorrow, you might win one, or you can just get them at the Mango Tree. They're 35 pre-sold, 45 at the gate. And show kicks off from early. We're gonna have some music vibes from 7 o'clock, and then show times around 8:30. It's not gonna be, it's Saturday night, so everything needs to be locked down by midnight. So.
But that's the thing, and I mean, I started building for it, and all the performers, and it's a nice setting. In the luck, you might find a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, we got some new local talent that we're exposing, trying to get them out there. They come to the Mango Tree a lot and perform. If it's either karaoke night or just great singers and young adults that I think needs a little bit of exposure. So what I'm trying to do with the shows that I do is try to get some of those young stars that that doesn't really have they just need a little push, but they're good performers, so you'll get to see some of them this Saturday night also.
And even if they come and don't take your invitation to perform, just being there and seeing the legends of Juliet.
Yeah, we got a few that will be performing, but like I said, keeping that music alive, and I must say, you got a lot of youngsters that love that. Back then we had to listen to it. There was no YouTube or Netflix, stuff like that. Whatever your parents or grandparents put on, that's what you had to listen to, and it kind of grew on you. That's why country and old school roots music like that, it's kind of there. It's kind of like foundation.
And that's it, man, and that's what I think builds a society. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to come on in between, now and Saturday. Hopefully more of us will not only be aware, but actually come out. It's a great offering. It's a great setting. Johnny Edward and the team over there. Just the conversation with them alone makes it nice. So this, either the Mango Tree or otherwise, this Saturday night we can come and enjoy it.
That's right.
Let me ask you, your favorite Judy Boucher song or your favorite Lord Laro song?
Favorite Lord. Ooh, boy. Lord Laro has some
so many.
Some Sprechen is also one that I always loved. And the Lover's License. That's a good one. Got a lot of songs, man.
Yeah,
There's songs that I even forgot that he used to sing. I was going through all his songs. Judy Boucher, of course, she does a lot of country reggae. So she has a lot of hits from back in the day that are country songs that are in that reggae style.
Yeah.
But Can't Be With You Tonight is her biggest anthem, and a lot of ladies love that. So you're gonna see a lot of ladies out on Saturday.
If we have more time, man, I'll probably get in trouble. but this is the beauty. Thank you for putting on this production, because there's a lot of work. But it also, I think, is receptive to what the community likes. The Mango Tree setting is a place that I don't want to say, my older siblings went to, because then they might say, hey. But it's been around. It's a fixture within the community.
Yeah, there's a lot of events going on, like I said earlier, but there's none that's catering for that culture of music. The Ernie Smith was one of them, which was good, and apparently it was a great time. A lot of people had a great time. I think Paul was down there for that one, and I get good reception from that. So, and there's a lot of people hungry for stuff like that, because not to worry, you go into a place and there's you're gonna have the crowd that you feel uncomfortable, especially right now on the road. People are kind of uncomfortable going out. But these type of events like this, people and you can relate to, and you don't have to worry about that young crowd that you don't.
That's sensible, mature. I mean, there's a couple, like I consider them friends, and to see him and his wife out, or to see her and her husband, however they want to see it, just to see the two of them, and understanding that they're still very youthful and energetic. And at times, they'll be just the two of them, they'll be there with other friends, and to watch that enjoyment. You're working all week. You got a stage and a place in your life where you kind of want to be amongst friends, but know that it's in a space where you feel welcome, you feel safe. We shouldn't take that for granted, man, and we can see us on the threat. So thanks for putting this together.
All right.
Yeah, man. So Saturday night.
I see you there. Come hold a tile, let's do it.
Come on. What Susan said, rent a tile? Well, listen, you give me permission. Let me see if I can snag a dag. All right. Join Doc Saturday night. All right. When you come back, Michael Myers promised to come into the studio. So stay tuned for Doc Today.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Tomorrow on the Glass House lawn on Elgin Avenue, Honoring Women's Month continues with the Women in Agriculture Farmers Market. It starts 1:30 p.m. and goes until 5:30 p.m. In international news, the U.S. has filed a landmark lawsuit against Apple, which accuses the tech giant of monopolizing the smartphone market and crushing competition. In the lawsuit, the Justice Department alleges the company used its control of the iPhone to illegally limit competitors and consumer options. The complaint accuses it of squashing the growth of new apps and reducing the appeal of rival products. Apple has vowed to vigorously fight the lawsuit and denies the claims. What's red, black, and hairy all over? A new species of bug discovered in Australia, dubbed by some as a punk beetle for its shaggy white locks. A Queensland researcher spotted the fluffy specimen by chance while camping and initially mistook it for bird poo. The National Science Agency, the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, has since confirmed it's an entirely new family of longhorn beetle. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 9th of September 1937. The second of 8 children born to Henry Kitchener Connolly and Olive Connolly, fondly known as Big H to his family and friends. Like so many other Caymanian boys and men, young Hinton went to sea at the tender age of 17, working with national bulk carriers for 5 years. During his tenure at sea, Hinton sailed on many different ships, namely the Ulysses, Old Titan, St. Clair, Petrolor, Petra Sea, and Petra King. He sailed between Portland, Maine to Venezuela.
The Cayman Islands Gender Affairs Unit invites the public to join us on Friday, March 22nd at the Glass House lawn on Elgin Avenue for the Women in Agriculture Farmers Market from 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Come and support women-owned or operated farms and related businesses, showcasing their agricultural-based products. From fresh produce to homemade goods, your purchases will contribute to the economic empowerment of women in agriculture, making a real difference in our community. Mark your calendars, spread the word, and join us in celebrating the remarkable women shaping our agricultural sector. To register as a vendor, visit frc.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Mr. Michael Myers for sitting with us. And I'll attempt to multitask initially. I'll ask you and the public to forgive me. I am attentive. I come from a school where I like to look at you when I'm talking to you, and even if I'm making notes, I always somehow feel like, oh, you're not paying attention unless you're in a classroom. And even then, so forgive me for attempting to that.
I'm good.
Yeah, man.
I'm good with that.
And you had sent me some things prior, which I appreciate. And as a consequence, I had got a chance to look at other jurisdictions and do some cross-comparative analysis. But other people have shared similar things, right? So I try to reference them now. My only challenge is, can I see you without my glasses? If I put my glasses on, I can't see you. So let me figure this out.
That's fine, man.
But Michael, why are you here? Why are we here? What are we going to be talking about? Why is that important? What can we do? I almost sound like a 2-year-old with all these questions. But is that the problem? We're not honestly and earnestly asking questions, seeking solutions, or is, well, I have much to say, but let me hear from you, man.
It's not, why am I here? I enjoy sharing with with our people, certainly our country, that solving the social challenges that we have is not a police approach only.
Right.
Yes, we need their approach, but it's not just a police approach. We had, this shooting several weeks ago now, and I get the outrage, and there's always an outrage, with respect to that shooting a week or so after it, and then it dies down, it goes out of sight, it's out of mind, and people kind of go back to their own lives until it happens again. I sent you an article that I've saved for probably the last 15 years. It was written in 2011. Kim and Compass wrote an article where we had a mass shooting where 5 or 6 young Caymanians lost their lives in a weekend. Our political leadership basically wanted to fight it by putting more guns on the road. And that's what I'm hearing now again, right? It's a same old argument where we're back to the table saying, well, how we solve crime is let's just put more police officers out there. And it didn't work 15, 20 years ago. It's not working.
Right.
So what's the new strategy? If the police is only about enforcement, that's not going to solve our crime problem, because our crime problem didn't just creep up overnight, right? It is a social problem. And unless we fix the social and education problem that we're having, we are not going to solve the crime problem, because no 12-year-old, 13 or 14, even a 15-year-old, they're not waking up in the morning and just picking up a gun, or they're not waking up in the morning and saying to themselves, well, I'm bored, let me go rob somebody, or let me go break into someone's house. That is something that we are creating by circumstances over a course of time. And I've seen it over the last 35 years of doing what I do with youth development and dealing with our most vulnerable people, is that we are now having more and more poverty in Cayman. We are having more and more from teenage moms to teenage dads to folks who are having it extremely tough. We're now, for the first time in probably the last 10 years, we're having more and more people who are homeless, who can't afford their rent or their mortgages, who can't afford to eat. And when you get people that are consistently desperate and their young children are watching this, they are not going to grow up to be desperate too. What they're going to grow up to be, say, well, if you're not going to give it, here's what I'm going to do. Without the support systems in place, we are creating, the folks that are going to turn around and harm us.
Right.
And why I'm here is to talk about that and to talk about how we can get around that, how we can work together as a community. And we're never going to eradicate it, but can we reduce it?
Yeah, what are mitigating factors, right? And at the outset, I appreciate you allow me to say, why are you here? Why are we here? Because this is an individual sort of concern, but it has to be a collective response, right? Yeah. I went back to my notes, I looked at the questions and the comments that people have shared, because through your training, your stint with government, to what you're doing now, I'm beginning to ask, are we pointing fingers? Are we willfully blind to some of the things? Are we burying our heads in the sand? Have we thrown our hands up in the air? And as you were saying it, I wrote something down that someone was reading, sent to me that I was reading, and it said, the answer, is it more police nor more guns in the hands of police? I responded to the person when they wrote it, but I didn't get a response since now. That may be because they didn't seem to think, well, it's obvious, right? But the other person who sort of responded to that shared that we as a society seem to respond en masse when these things happen with a willingness to give up our freedoms. She wrote, and I'll paraphrase, that because we think we have nothing to hide, we have nothing to worry about. But in her question she's asking, in relegating our freedoms, giving up that, are we then losing more and more of the collective input and the social awareness, but also the freedoms that we should cherish? So the other lady, if I just may share, in the group, she responded and she said, but we can blame the schools and the parents. Fair enough. But what are we doing as individuals to participate in not just a march, not just a public meeting, not just, is it that we feel defeated before we even venture a solution?
No, I think that we're trying to compartmentalize it.
Okay.
We are doing it almost in saying, well, this only requires a police response, or we are doing it to where it's only a parent response. I think it's a collective response, right? I share with people all the time that the community that I grew up in Central Georgetown, and while very few people had it all, we collectively had it all, because folks had different things and the community looked out for each other. Today, that's been eviscerated, right? We've completely just removed communities because of development, have displaced a lot of our communities, and the communities that have stayed behind, like the Rock Hole and the Windsor Parks and so forth, they have become more of our inner cities, without our youngsters seeing that there's a different way of doing things.
Right.
When our folks can't afford the basic things like food and housing and so forth, they are going to take housing that are in specific areas that are not conducive to raising young people. And when young people are only seeing trauma on a regular basis, that's what they're going to represent going forward. And if we're not helping them with that to process that, then that grows into something that it becomes uncontrollable, and that's what we're seeing now.
Right.
Have we gone too far? I'm a realist, and certainly I'm positive to know, and it's based on the work that I have been doing, at the center in the last 5 years. We have not, but we're losing a lot of space here.
Right.
And when you can have a young person, or whoever did it, I'm pretty sure that it's a young person who could pick up a gun, walk into a crowded place, and spray a group of folks with absolutely no sort of caution or no heart or no, that can walk away from that and knowing that they have hurt innocent people. We have a real issue on our hands. But is it isolated? No. I showed you stats that we've had loads of, shootings in our country, in our community. There wasn't an outrage about that because of where it happened. All of a sudden it happened at Ed Bush in a public place. But we've had that in, from Rock Hole to, from down in Central to up in East End. No one really cared at that point, right?
Why is that? Is it apathy? Is it that?
It is.
Yeah. And is it then that, just generally speaking, so I really appreciate you reaching out and we scheduling and having this discussion, because I think many times we don't want to do this because we don't acknowledge it.
No.
Michael Miles is our guest, and through you, hope will encourage us to come to a position of courageousness.
Yeah.
Michael, we do have a caller joining us. Mr. Joni has fresh to sanitize those headsets. I put them on to keep my hair in place, so you can do the same if you want. Let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Let me say good afternoon to you, Mr. Moderator, and good afternoon to your highly esteemed guest, Mr. Michael Miles.
And to you, man, and to you.
Good afternoon.
Quincy Brown here. I thank you, and I listen to you, I listen to you intensely, and I oftentimes brag about your financial acumen and you being politically astute, Mr. Miles, but also the fact that you took time. I'll never forget the 2021 election year. You actually took time to sit with myself in Prospect. Now, I didn't vote in 2021. That's on me. But you actually took the time, and you're continuing Inspire Cayman. You're continuing to do so much in your community, and I want to say thank you. I decided to give you a call right now, and thanks for taking it. Thanks for facilitating it, Mr. Moderator. When I heard you say if someone could be bold enough to take a gun and start spraying people, well, yeah, people are bold, people are hurting, and people are crazy. There's a country song that says, God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. Well, I don't drink beer anymore because beer has gotten me in a lot of trouble. One is too many, 1,000's never enough. But just this morning, nobody didn't take a gun. And perhaps it could be said the guy was joking, but I don't take it as a joke. Someone pulled the scissors on me. Yeah? Now, this person was probably drunk, and he has the audacity to say, yo, Quincy, at least I know no crackhead. I say, well, what's that supposed to mean? I'm in recovery. I'm going to a lot of therapy sessions. I'm getting help for what I need help for.
Yeah.
So he pulls the scissors. I thought it was a knife. But I was bold enough to say, if you want to stab me, let me turn my back to you. Stab me now. I'm showing him and all those in the community, because you want to talk about Caymanian hatred. Let me tell you something. Being in the community now at times, it's like leaving the Radio Cayman building after Hurricane Ivan. We were safe inside the Radio Cayman building. It's when we came out in Georgetown, Bordentown, Easton, after the hurricane to the aftermath, it's not easy. And the thing is, when you read Cayman News Service, congratulations, Wendy Ledger. Congratulations, Nicky Watson. Accurate with work permits. It's not easy out here. And the thing is, people are hurting. So what they're doing is they're attacking one another, unfortunately. Caymanians. It's the Caymanian hatred amongst Caymanian hatred. But I want to encourage people to just be kind.
Yes, yes.
Just be kind. And remember the dates, Mr. Moderator, April 8th to April 12th.
Right.
We have Rich Lawrence coming.
Yeah, man.
Awesome, Massachusetts.
Quincy, I'm going to interject. Thank you respectfully, only because Michael has, the next 40 minutes or so, then we have the guest. But we'll get back to that. We don't have another call, though,
Sure.
Michael.
Thank you, Quincy. Appreciate that.
Appreciate the call as we go to the next one. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
And to you, man. How are you doing today?
Okay, and you?
Why, I am doing well. I am indeed. Trust and pray all the same for you and yours, man.
Okay. Thank you, man. Good afternoon to Mr. Miles. So,
Good afternoon, sir.
yeah, the name of the educational system that you're working, that you have created, what's the name of that again?
Inspire Cayman Training.
Okay. Well, when it comes to concessions, part of the concession deals with the government and construction. And construction in this country right now is a lot. And for the past 20 to 25 years, I know the government must have at least given away almost $2 billion worth of concessions. And part of the concession deals with the government is 60% of those working and building these buildings are supposed to be Caymanians. And 60% working at these hotels after they're built are supposed to be Caymanians.
Can I ask, just for my edification, that statistic 60%, just make sure you misunderstand. Is that what you say it should be, or is that what you know it to be? How do you come to that number?
That's facts. I heard that from Mr. Roy Martagat.
Okay, so part of the concessions then, in return for whatever else they're getting financially, make sure I misunderstand you, you're saying that their employment should then therefore equate to 60%?
Yeah, those building the buildings should be Caymanians.
Okay.
The construction workers, 60% of them should be Caymanians.
Okay.
Okay?
And you didn't understand?
Okay, let me ask you a question now.
Uh-huh.
The government has given away almost $2 billion worth of concessions in the last 20 to 25 years. How much million is $1 billion?
Michael, you're a mathematician?
Come on, Dwayne. I'm asking you.
No. Hey, I pivoted because I remember I went to anyway. So how much million in a billion?
100.
Yeah. So there's 1,000 million in 1 billion. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the government has given away almost $2 billion in the last 20 to 25 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that means that we should have a trade school, professional trade schools in every district in this country right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And we don't even have one.
Mm.
And Mr. Miles, what he's doing, public works, and UCCI cannot provide 60% of the workforce building these buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the Auditor General, about 7 years ago, said in the newspaper, Cayman Compass,
And
that Cayman Compass, that all of the concessions that have been given away, the Caymanians have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, man. And thanks for that. Thanks for that. Michael, the caller has consistently, identified some of the things that could be financial cost to us as a consequence of our inaction. I appreciate the caller always lamenting that. But you're here with some time and share with us, through your perspective.
Just to comment on what he's saying. Construction has never been a viable career. We've not sold it as a career.
Mm-hmm.
We've sold construction as a job.
Yeah.
The hospitality industry has never been sold as a career. We've always talked about being a server. We've never really talked about being a CEO or being the executive at the Ritz-Carlton or the Westin and so forth. Right? What we are doing at Inspire is selling industries different. I don't talk jobs to the folks who walk through the door. I talk about where you start and where you want to go. You need to start off at the bottom. But you can climb to the top, and that's going to take work, and it's going to take you getting yourself certified and so forth.
Wow.
He's right. We're never going to fill. We have more jobs in this country than we have Caymanians. So that's not practical for us to say that we are not going to have or rely on some level of foreign labor.
But we have unemployment.
We do have unemployment because we do have a lot of Caymanians, doing what I've been doing in the last 5 years, trying to educate people about where those careers are. We've taught our young people that the only way to get a job is through the government, which is in some admin position, or through law, or through accounting, or it's always some office job.
Right.
But that's not the average young person that we are producing today. They're skilled and talented, and they can become contractors and entrepreneurs and technicians and so forth. But we are not selling that as a job. What we're selling it as you are not good as an accountant, or you're not going to be a doctor, so go be a mechanic. As if a mechanic is the lowest part of the totem pole, right? And that's that's just my experience, that what I've been dealing with in the last 15 years.
I want to ask you about that. I'm told it's under the caller.
Yep.
Let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for sharing. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
And to you, sir. How are you today?
Not bad, Mr. Miles.
All right, man. Appreciate you listening, and thanks for calling.
I want to address Mr. Miles, speak to a certain issue, because I know that Mr. Miles is determined to help the community. I don't know how much he has on his hands, but I would like to see. This is what I would like to see Mr. Miles and some of the people in the community sort of work together to put together some homeless shelters. I don't know how many districts you can put them in. Like hurricane shelter / homeless shelter. I believe that Mr. Miles and others can, even if it's politicians, they can do it and do something for the homeless people. Maybe you can teach the people there, skills and do, like from different complexes, like apartment complexes. And you teach them cooking, you teach the other things that Mr. Miles teach the folks, the different skills, And you can do even I mean, what you call it, little light farming, do a little, like an educational facility, homeless shelter, hurricane shelter, all purpose sort of.
Right. Okay.
I believe that they can do it. Mr. Miles is a good man.
Right.
That's why I'm asking him. That's my wishes.
Well, I appreciate the confidence. There's a lot of things that my plans is to ensure that Caymanians have access, and everything of what you've just mentioned, is what I design. My wife and I design Inspire to be is to give Caymanians as much access to be self-sufficient and self-reliant as much as we can. And we've done a lot in 5 years with little of nothing. We've started with our own money. We're still using our own money to ensure that Caymanians are progressing. And a major part of that right now is going beyond the job. We want to ensure that Caymanians coming to us isn't just getting a skill, but understanding their finances. So we're teaching financial management. If they have challenges with some level of housing, that we are saying you no longer have to go to NAU, because the mere fact that we are going to arm you with employment and skills, you can now do that yourself. We now have, therapeutic services on board. We now have things like transportation that we're assisting with. We are going to, we're taking as many barriers off the table, and we're now assisting with things like clothing. We have organizations who said, hey, I'll take them as an intern, but I need health insurance from. We're paying for that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that we are doing that people aren't aware of. What they see me doing is training. But they don't understand that 90% of what I do is social work. Yes, I have trainers. Yes, we're doing a great job, but we also have limited funding. And while I would love to take on building some stuff, that's just not in my forte at this point in time, because it's just unaffordable. From property to building materials to all of that stuff is unaffordable. But can I teach a man how to fish? That's what we're doing.
Right.
We are teaching a man how to fish, and we are walking with the man and woman side by side as they fish. Yeah. We're not just giving them a line anymore, but we're saying we will walk this journey with you. And that's working for us, right? I mean, when I started off 5 years ago, we weren't helping people to employment. Today, we've hired, an individual that's all they're doing. We are hiring individuals that's all they do is developing people. That's all they're doing is taking, that we're only teaching construction. We've bought heavy equipment machinery because that's where the country, our country wanted more Caymanians in heavy equipment operations. So we've invested our own money and we've bought the machines, and we are now training up. We now have at least 17, 18 Caymanians that's in training that we are funding. So there's a lot of things that I believe that as we develop as a small organization, and I just want people to understand, we are, a very, very, very small organization that's doing a lot of really big things. And this is where I ask the community to get involved, because our people need opportunity. And this is why I say to the community, give me internships, give me apprenticeships, give me employment, give me mentors, give me guest speakers that come in to raise the level of hope that our people need.
Yeah.
Because that's what creates this domino effect of lower crime, more family driven communities. That's how I grew up, right? And that's how a lot of folks in my age group and older have grown up, is where the community kind of looked out for us while our parents were working or engaged in some other activity. The community basically said, I'm going to teach you manners, and that's what that's what I've taken on.
For example, I think we have another call. Patch it through. Michael Miles is our guest. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, thanks for calling.
Hi. Thank you. Michael, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed hearing your your points before the last caller called in, and it was also very inspiring to hear the last few, reiterating some of the services that you guys offer. I want to take this time to say, I do not believe that we do not have as much Caymanians to take their rightful place in certain certain areas of employment. Because when I think, I'm going to get a bit passionate now, so please excuse me. When I think about the public bus transportation services, right? There should be Caymanians. Those positions should be reserved strictly for Caymanians who are operating in our local dialect, who are operating that they can relay to tourists and other people our history. When we have young people coming out of prison and can't get jobs. The rehabilitation that they try to do in there has to continue when they come out. Public transportation jobs should be reserved for our Caymanian young men. Landscaping, ownership, businesses should be reserved for our Caymanians. Gas pumpers. I mean, I'm not saying that our Caymanians should only take menial jobs, because some people may look at these as menial jobs. But there are jobs that, especially our young Caymanians that are being rehabilitated or just starting out or just want to be young entrepreneurs, there are certain categories of work that should be reserved strictly for our Caymanians. There are enough young people out there, or even Caymanians, that want to do these jobs. I was at a gas station in West Bay yesterday, and for years I have seen nothing but Caymanians and West Bayers employed at this particular gas station. This should be, and I don't like to say this in a manner that it sounds as though I am anti anything else but Caymanian, right? Because that is far from the truth. But at the same time, when we look back and see where Cayman is right now, that we are a minority. I mean, in a small minority too, not just a minority. Our people are almost about to become extinct when you really think about it, right? This is the land where everyone is coming from all over the world, and our people are being pushed way up into the backlands in East End and North Side and getting left out. And the services that Michael is offering are all wonderful services, but please let's also advocate to have certain things put on the back, on the front of the line for our Caymanians, our people, because every bus driver, just about every bus driver I know, is a non-Caymanian. Without prejudice and no disrespect intended, some of the gas stations have people that are young. Thankfully, I don't mean to call anyone's name. The white gas station up there, they like employing Caymanians. Up at Red Bay, and there's one new one on the Prospect bypass there. All nice young Caymanians. We have to give our young people a job. And as Michael was saying, we teach them if you're going to work from the bottom, but you're going to work your way up to the top, because everyone else from all over the world comes here. And another thing I want to say before I forget, let's encourage teaching economics. That should be a primary subject taught in school, like math and English.
Agreed.
Economics, because we want to teach our Caymanians how to earn their money, but also budget.
Yeah. And invest.
Utilize their money properly. Yes.
Absolutely.
And how to invest. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And so I won't take up any more of your time.
Thank you, Colin.
I'm getting
Appreciate
passionate, but like I said, certain things, certain jobs, certain categories of jobs must be reserved, because we have our Caymanian people that want to do this. Government offers for Caymanians, and you have to prove you're a Caymanian, that you don't have to pay for certain categories of business licenses. Our young people out there can do that, but there's other geographical people that are coming in, and they are hoarding these applications and taking these jobs, and it's oversaturated, and our Caymanians can't do it. They come in with the credit, they come in with the money, they save their money, and they invest in these things. how can our Caymanians get an opportunity to drive the buses when, actually, let me say this too, I understand Caymanians are the ones that are taking out the business license for the bus drivers and then employing them. That should be something else that is reviewed. I'm going to do a show on the bus drivers. But that is something that we need to look at also. Michael, I know this don't have too much to do with what you're doing, but in a way it also ties in, because you're offering so much services there that some of this could fall into some of these categories,
right,
in my mind, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to say you're doing a fabulous job, a really great job. Continue. I hope that investors will pour into your company and it will grow and offer much more services, and you will always stick to you. I know you, we grew up together, and you've always been a true Caymanian, looking out for the best of our people, but at the same time being fair and inviting to everyone else. Those are the two main things we need to think of when we think about helping this country to grow and to grow to a future for our Caymanian children.
Agreed.
That's my little contribution there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too. Thank you
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you too. All right, thanks for that. And respectfully, we got to pause for commercial break. A couple of calls to take. Michael Myers continues. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
It's Digicel's 20th birthday bash, and you're invited. We are giving away 20 phones for 20 years. Win an iPhone or a Samsung smartphone as part of our anniversary celebration. Simply spend $20 or more at Digicel, or be an active postpaid customer, and you could be our lucky winner. It's our way of saying thank you for 20 incredible years of connection and support from our amazing customers like you. Don't miss out on this epic celebration. Go to your nearest Digicel store today and join the party. Digicel, better connected.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, helping people plan for retirement is at the heart of what we do. To help improve our member experience, we would like to receive feedback from our members and employers. Send us your feedback on the overall experience and suggestions for improvements by email at pensions@chamberpension.ky or by calling 743-9125 or 745-9130. We are committed to improving member experience, which helps you make more informed decisions that lead to better pension saving outcomes. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We are here for you.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Kirk Freeport's Eastern Bayshore Family Event is back.
This Easter Saturday, March 30th, hop down to the Bayshore Mall in Georgetown from 4 to 6 p.m. for sweet treats including popcorn, snow cones, and cotton candy. Don't miss the Easter bunnies, and there's even a kids scavenger hunt with chocolate prizes, plus face painting and musical entertainment. The event is free, and there's free parking behind the mall for parents too. Easter at Bayshore's back. Visit KirkFreeport.com for more information. Happy Easter from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to our listeners and those who call, and to Michael Miles for joining. We do have a couple of other callers coming in, right? And this is good participation, and hopefully through them we can understand as we listen. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Yeah, welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. Fine.
Thanks for calling.
Yes, and hi to Mr. Miles.
Hi, Mom. Thanks for calling.
Yes. I just want to take my hat off to the young lady just now. Everything that she said, it is so on target, you know. But I really called to congratulate Mr. Miles on everything he's doing and this great service he's doing for our island and our people. He got a passion that no one's going to take from him anytime soon. And I just hope that people would appreciate him now and after. And when he do get in his recliner, they'll come and visit him and bring him some ice cream and talk about all the days that they gave him a warm time, but yet they learned something. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Miles, if I can be of any help, Sterling has my number. I could probably do something with you once a month.
Sure.
I had my non-profit organization ID, but I gave it up. It was like, for me to give that up, with to cancel it out was like doing a divorce. So I say,
I know the feeling.
Again. I said never again, and I was warned by my son. Say, Ma, you want to really get involved in this NPO because it is a headache.
Yeah.
And come to find out, it is a headache. And
It is.
I was not trying to rock anything in it. It's just that I was dealing with food vouchers. Gift cards from the stores to purchase the goods and then distribute it to the people. I didn't have no checking account, and I had no saving account. I wasn't accepting no checks or nothing in that category. So I say, you know what, let's just give it up. And what my son went through the cancer ladder was like going through a divorce. But anyhow, I am still trying to do what I can do on the side for who I can help.
That's it.
I don't have much, but what I have, I can share.
That's
but
it.
There's a God above us, and believe me, He provides for all of us at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So Sterling has my number, so he can give you my number.
I will get it from him.
Okay.
Because we definitely need folks like you.
Thank you.
Call me sometime to see what I can contribute to your organization.
Awesome.
And thank you for your service.
It's an
All
honor.
right. Yes, thanks.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
You're a real okay man,
Got it from my mother.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.
Yes. Okay,
Thank you.
Sterling, you take care now.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're most welcome.
All right. See
And
you.
as we take this call, this is what is, to me, always inspiring, right? That we got people who recognize a need, who are willing to say, hey, hear me, use me, and what can I do?
Well, this is how we solve the gun problem, right? We solve the crime problem. These are the folks that I grew up with that when you needed advice, when you needed a pickup, when your mom was down on hard times or your father was down on hard times, you relied on folks like her to always speak hope into you.
Right.
Quite often what we're doing, like I told you earlier, 80% of what we do oftentimes isn't training. To get someone through our programs, we need to reduce barriers. And the majority of those barriers has nothing to do with training.
Yeah.
I can give you a full scholarship, but if you don't have childcare, you're not going to take advantage of that. If you don't have clothing, if you don't have food, if you don't have housing. And this is the stuff that we are dealing with, right? So I've had to pivot several times to say, okay, I have funds now to help Caymanians, but they can't access this support because these barriers are in the way. So I've had to remove those barriers by creating other budgets so I can help youngsters get in the door. On, like I have 50-year-olds and 40-year-olds that are coming in the doors and saying, hey, I want to be a heavy equipment, operator, but I'm a mother of 3. How do I do that?
Yeah.
Well, let's get a plan together, and they're doing it because we're helping them a little bit more, and that's going to be important going forward.
There's so much that you shared that I think we'll continue. But Michael, we do have another caller.
Sure.
As you go to the phones, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miles, and good afternoon, Dwayne, and your listeners.
And to you. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. First of all, let me commend Mr. Miles. By all reputation, I've never met him, but by all reputation and what I have seen from the public media, what he does and his passion, let me just congratulate him as doing it well and also addressing an area which needs to be addressed. If you go out there and you want to establish a financial company in ABC, fine, that might be good for you. But in Cayman, clearly that is an area where if he can be even more successful than he is now, the issues that the lady who called earlier is talking about will be easier to achieve. Like if you say, well, in this particular area, there should only be Caymanians, there needs to be Caymanians with the skills to take those jobs. Now, but before I make I've got 2 comments here, but before I make my first one, can I just ask a question? To what extent do the schools incorporate in their curriculum issues relating to trade school? When I went to secondary school, I wound up being a lawyer, but at school I did woodwork as well as one of my subjects. To what extent are schools in Cayman teaching subjects that could lead to a career in a trade?
It is involved in our curriculum, I think, from as early as year 9, probably up until 12, and I know there's quite a bit of, or some bits of TVET programming at SciFec as well. None of the private schools that I'm aware of have any form of TVET training, and the majority of them have, they're at least 50%. I know a school like Triple C is probably 80 and 90% Caymanian, and I know places like Hope and other small schools have the majority of Caymanians that they don't have a lot. The public schools, I know that they do have TVET training programs. The gap that happens is when they finish school, because you can only do so much in the public school. So when they finish school, that learning ends. Where do they go? If they're not going off to university, where do they go? So that was the gap. Another gap is that the folks that don't graduate from high school, that are not engaged in any form of school, and we do have a lot of folks that, or a growing number of young people who are, that are not in education from one stage or another, from 16, 17 years old, so they're just bouncing around. They have no skill, they have no education. Where do they go, right? So where I wanted to fill the gap was I wanted to ensure that there's access for every Caymanian that need a spot, that need a place to be, to learn on-the-job skills training. And that also comes down to workforce development skills training, life skills training. How do you, I can get you to training in possibly a job, but you're still spending money on some dumb stuff. So you're still broke. So now I need to teach you how to manage your money. Okay, now I need to also help you understand where you're going to live. Can you afford a mortgage, or do you need a rent for a while? There's a lot of that isn't taught. The life skills part of what we do isn't taught. I know I graduated in 1990. I'm 50 years old. I didn't do life skills. Yeah, I did carpentry. I did some form of carpentry in school. I did technical drawing to a certain extent. But no one said, hey, here's how you open up a bank account. Here's how you invest in stocks, or here's how you invest in your pension. No one teaches that. Or here's how you sign up for health insurance. I'm having to sit with young people and help them understand health insurance, right? Because all the organization does is give them the form to say, but per the government, we need to sign you up for health insurance. We need to sign you up for pension. They have no clue about any of that stuff. So yeah, I can get you, we can help you get employment, but you don't have those life skills. And that's the part where I think that we are missing a major gap. There's a major gap in our system, and we are trying to help them get caught up with that, because what's happening is that they stay unemployed for longer periods of time now because they don't know how to hold a job down. It's not a matter of getting a job in Cayman. I mean, anyone could get a job, but when you get into that, can you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to start as a forklift driver, and then in the next 5 years, I'm going to become the owner of the company because I'm going to work that hard. We need to start teaching our people how to become owners of it rather than just an employee of it. Right? And that's what we are starting to do, is open up the minds of our young people that they don't simply just have to stay employees for the next 50 years.
Well, and that's good. In fact, there's more being done than I thought, but it just seems to me that more effort needs to be put in that by government in the schools to do even more than they're doing now. Because there's no point saying, well, as you were saying, to tell kids go out there and do X when they don't have the skills to be able to do it. But I'll tell you, that's my first point. My second point is more broad, and it arises from what we talked about. I just feel that the governments in the Cayman Islands are not responding sufficiently to what people want. For example, the lady who called, she said, well, how about assigning certain jobs to be just for Caymanians? That has been talked about for a very long time.
It has.
And yet nobody wants to look at that. They keep always being told these scare tactics, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. And the reason that they tell you that there should be no jobs for Caymanians only is because they know that if you make a list of jobs which are for Caymanians only, it will be far more effective in helping Caymanians get jobs. And it is people who do not want that to happen, who want to import cheap labor, who are insisting that can happen. But now, if you have an elected government, why isn't the government doing this? There are a lot of things in government. For example, they could just change some pieces of legislation. In previous calls, I've mentioned to Dwayne how certain specific sections of the public service management law can be changed to make it just clear that if a Caymanian qualifies, regardless of who qualifies from another country, they should be given a job. And I think the problem in Cayman is that the politicians are not responding to what people want because they have been sold out. I'm sorry to say, the government in the Cayman Islands has been captured by foreign interests. Today, I think that the people in government are afraid to do certain things. Why? Because they are afraid that the people who pay for their elections and whatever else they pay for are not going to allow that. I think that people in Cayman have been shafted. People in Cayman are always being cheated by elections. We have gone to a point now where elections are not changing anything. I'm not keen about the next election. And I'm very frustrated about this because I tied my future to Caymanians when I came, but I found out that in the end, by tying my future to Caymanians, I ended up being treated like a Caymanian, and a lot of things that happened to me were similar to those things that happened to Caymanians. I think in Cayman there is need for public action, lawful public action, to tell the government to do certain specific things that have to be done. Let me close on this. Right now, for example, there was on CNS, on the Cayman News Service, I can mention them because they are not competing with you.
That's okay, man.
CNS had a very detailed article talking about how there are more than 1,000 applications for immigration for status, and they have not been dealt with. Clearly, the government doesn't want to do anything about that, but it keeps pretending and telling people that we want to sort this out, and yet clearly there are certain things that they could easily do. They don't want to do them. And meanwhile, let me tell you, once you grant those 1,000 statuses which are pending, maybe even half or three-quarters of them, it's totally finished. Because right now, as it is, in Cayman, there's only about 28%, that's a real estimate, about 28% of indigenous Caymanians in your own country. And yet the governments that you are electing, they are not doing the job. Mm-hmm. They are telling you to do certain things, to vote for them, and they are not doing the thing that you want to be done by them. But let me stop there. At the end of the day, there is need for people action. The elections are not changing anything. You need people action.
Right. Listen, thank you very much. And Michael, to you for coming in and recognizing two things. Here's a discussion that we want to have, but here's a discussion that perhaps we're not. Maybe because it's not being able to facilitate it. Maybe it's the timing. But thank you for coming on. We shall have you back if you are able to. Right?
Please.
As we close out the discussion, one of our listeners writes and says, hell, I'm tuned in listening to talk today and hearing all about the amazing work that Michael, you're doing at Inspire Cayman Train. Your dedication is empowering young people and contributing to public safety is commendable. Keep up the fantastic work and know that your efforts are truly making a difference in the community. Looking forward to seeing more of your impactful programs in the future.
Thank you.
That's
I appreciate you sharing with me.
It's important that we do that, and like you said, more and more together, we're making a difference, right? Any closing thoughts, man? And thanks for coming on.
No, this is public. This is about public contribution. This is not certainly the Michael Miles show. My responsibility as a Caymanian is to give as much as I've been given, and I've been given a lot. The folks who've poured into me is so many of those people, and that's what I'm trying to give. I want to make sure that our people have a clear understanding that there's no white knight. I'm not here to save anything. My job is to contribute to our country, just like the thousands of us that can. There's a lot of really great work that's going on out there by a lot of Caymanians. I'm willing to collaborate with whoever that's willing to come to the table, and like the caller just said, and I believe in what he just said, it calls for action. It doesn't call for more long discussions.
Something that we shall discuss, you and I publicly, anybody else. The caller's one of his salient points. He aligned himself with Caymanians and started to be treated like Caymanians. Yeah. And if that was it, and that meant good, that would be great. But he then emphasized and explained, I was treated poorly as a Caymanian in Cayman. Maybe we can touch on that to some extent, future discussions, with the expectation that are we not any longer feeling a sense of hope? Yeah. Can we let that melt for a bit and see how we can do?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to pause, going to take the break. When we come back, Chief Superintendent Brad Ebanks, the Police Media Officer, Ms. Jodie Ampur, will be our guest. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Thanks for having me.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Has the circus come to town? No, it's A.L. Thompson's 2-week blowout sale from March 15 through March 30. Get under the huge tent outside A.L. Thompson's to save big. Save up to 75% on lighting, electrical, plumbing, paint, and hardware. Save up to 75% on housewares, building materials, and the ever-popular scratch and dent appliances. Take advantage of this savings while they last. It's March blowout under the tent at A.L. Thompson's, Georgetown.
On Saturday, March 23rd, it's the annual Springfest 2024 at the Mango Tree, featuring Lord Laro. Lord Laro performing live at the Mango Tree, alongside, for the first time in Cayman, Judy Boucher.
So please understand my situation.
Judy Boucher.
Tears on my pillow, pain in my heart.
Yeah, that's right. Get your tickets now. This is a limited seating event on Saturday, March 23rd. Mango Tree. Tickets are $35 pre-sold and $45 at the gate. VIP tables are available. Call 916-7667 for more info. Purchase your tickets at the Mango Tree or get them online at CaymanEvents.co.
This is Cody Scott, and I work in the water and wastewater sector. I am concerned about the vulnerability of our island's freshwater resources to climate change. Less rainfall and sea level rise affect the amount and quality of our natural freshwater. Households and the agricultural sector depend on these resources, as do our wetlands and forests. Protecting our freshwater resources is a critical priority. To learn more about the climate risk to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The southbound lane on the Linford-Pearson Highway from the intersection of the Smith Road-Bobby Thompson Way traffic signal to the new Bobby Thompson roundabout will be closed this Sunday, March 24th, from 6 a.m. to approximately 6 p.m. in order to undertake continuing road improvement works. In international news, Elon Musk's brain chip company Neuralink has shown its first patient moving a cursor on a computer using an implanted device. In a 9-minute live stream on X, formerly Twitter, Noland Arbaugh uses the cursor to play chess online. Mr. Arbaugh was paralyzed below the shoulders after a diving accident and received the chip implant in January. The company's goal is to connect human brains to computers to help tackle complex neurological conditions. President Joe Biden is canceling nearly $6 billion in student debt for 78,000 public service workers, he announced on Thursday. Teachers, nurses, and firefighters are among those eligible for the relief, the White House said. To date, Mr. Biden has canceled $143 billion in debt for nearly 4 million people. In this latest move, 78,000 public service workers will see an average of about $77,000 of student loan debt canceled. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. Now on Operation Talk Today, similar to what you may have heard with Mr. Art yesterday morning, we got Chief Superintendent Brad Ebanks and Police Media Officer Mr. Julian Porridge joining us. And thanks very much. I think that continued partnership between the policing authority and the wider public, engenders this sense of safety, security, and community. Respectfully, Chief Superintendent, if we perhaps speak to our gentle lady in our midst first and set the stage, would that be appropriate, sir?
Absolutely.
Okay. PC Power, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
The notion that increasingly we're seeing much in our society that we're not quite sure how to respond and what to do, and then the demands on the parent as the police officer, as even the pastor, as a preacher and counselor, is increasing.
Yes.
And, what to do?
Well, we can only do what we can do, and that's what we're here to do today. We're here to discuss the holiday period that's obviously coming up in the next week or so. Easter holiday is fast approaching, and with Easter holiday, we have a number of things that will be happening. So we'll have the camping going on. We'll also have a number of people that will be on holidays, and they'll be up and down on the roads. And that being said, this particular operation is a road safety operation that the Chief Superintendent is going to tell us about. And it is our opportunity to let you know ahead of time what we're doing so that you can make the right decisions going forward.
Right. Thanks very much, Mom. And Chief Superintendent, PC Power said a campaign. And I like how she said that, because it is, but not necessarily an election campaign.
Right. So as you probably would have known, that the Cayman Islands government has embarked upon a national road safety campaign with a view to sort of minimize the number of serious and fatal accidents on our roads. So really the objective is, or the goal is, road to zero by 2038. So we operate the enforcement part of that strategy. So we thought that the week leading up to Easter and the week of Easter and beyond would be the prudent time to actually put.
And we're targeting 2038, not 2015, not 2020 or whatever. Why 2038?
Well, it's really a lot of long-term plan.
Yeah.
And really and truly, we're not going to prosecute our way out of this area that we're in.
Yeah.
It has to come with education, infrastructure, and enforcement as well. So there's many working arms of the strategy, and we will actually put all those things in play.
Would it be helpful, and I certainly only ask because I think, like Mr. Miles previously and other callers, what can we do as the individual to either help, or even sometimes without acknowledging, we're consciously impeding. We think we're helping, we think we're doing, but we're not making a positive impact. So to ensure that the roads are safe, there's more consideration with respect to how we move about our roads. And at the end of the day, to get where we want to go on time, but in a safe manner, are there things that your campaign could help us to appreciate as a collective, but also as the individual, what we should and should not be doing?
So I think that where road safety is concerned, it's everybody's business. It's everybody's responsibility. And where this campaign is concerned, it is education first and enforcement next. So what we're doing and our role is making sure that you know that these are the things that we've seen that's been happening. We've had our second fatal collision for the year, both of them 1 day apart.
One in the Brack and one in Barton Town.
Right. And this was only yesterday. And today. So that being said, we know that fatalities on the roadways are a concern. It's continued to be a concern for many, many years. And we found that the main contributors to that is the speeding, the DUI, and also the distracted driving.
Okay.
Or a combination of the three. And so that being said, we're asking you, please do not do any of those things. Give 100% of your attention to driving. Don't exceed the speed limit. The speed limit is a limit. It's not a goal, and it's not, you know.
I'm not trying to be jovial by any nature. And sometimes some people, like you said, they see something and they go, oh, that's the speed limit. Let's see if I can make it. Let's see if I can exceed it. We know there's an offense for exceeding the speed limit, DUI and the like.
Mm-hmm.
You referenced distracted driving.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an offense? And
It is.
what is
It depends.
distracted driving?
It depends. So distracted driving is driving and using the cell phone, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way of distracted driving. But distracted driving also is, you know, turning the channel on your radio, having a conversation with somebody in your back seat or your passenger seat, and not giving 100% of your attention to driving. Now, those other things might not constitute a ticketable offense, but in the event that you meet in an accident, and these are factors that contributed to you meeting in an accident, then you could potentially be charged with driving without due care and attention or careless driving.
How do we prove that, distracted driving, for instance? And I said to share that my father has always said, my children will hear me say, he says, you're driving for you and everybody else. Pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
You're driving, and his wisdom every day becomes even more evident. So how do we prove distracted driving? Someone's along, something happens, and then there's no speed, excessive speed or over the bar. There's no DUI. There's nothing else. The seatbelt is there, cell phones. How do we prove that?
Well, through the investigation in several ways. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to ask you. I'm going to ask you, what were you doing? Because the accident didn't just happen out of nowhere. Yes, sometimes there are just accidents, but there are several things that could contribute to the accident.
Yeah.
Witnesses as well.
Right.
Yes.
The other driver.
And as obvious, sorry, Chief.
No, I was just going to say that sometimes you travel on the road and you're paying attention and you avoid an accident because you see someone else that's not paying attention. And I can say that the cell phone is one of the biggest distractions on the roads today.
Yeah. I have a friend, she consciously puts the cell phone, as she calls it, in the boot. And for a while I thought, I don't see you wearing cowboy boots.
I know your friend.
You know my friend?
Yes.
You guys are good friend. It's in the trunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying, I'm driving from point A to point B, even if I'm going home after work and it's an hour. Prayerfully nothing happens, but that is deliberate so that it doesn't. That's the practice, back where she's from. We can drive hands-free, but we can still be distracted.
Yeah.
So then this education, is it, as I think Chief Superintendent, you shared, we can't prosecute our way. There needs to be enforcement.
Yes.
But is this a societal concern and needs to be addressed at that level?
This is a culture. This is a culture. And it is a culture that is contributing to many of our accidents.
Yes, sir.
And that is going to be one of the things that we will concentrate on during this enforcement period.
How so? I mean, I don't want to do anything other than to assist in that perspective, right? But how do we enforce that? How do we, as you said, concentrate on what are we going to be doing to make our roads safe, and what are some of the emphasis? We see the road, I call them, those patrols that you have, and some of us are going, okay, finally, this helpful. Yes, we'll be delayed. Some of us are frustrated by, they are digging. But if we get them safely, hey, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
So what will, in addition to all that, will you be doing to see that shift?
Well, in terms of the operation itself that we'll be carrying out over the holiday period, you can expect to see regular and spontaneous vehicle checkpoints, for instance. And we do know that as soon as we erect our vehicle checkpoints, there will be somebody who will be sending a message in the WhatsApp group to say the police have a roadblock going on at the Grand Harbor roundabout, for instance. And that's fine as well. And we're hoping that that will form a part of the message, to please drive carefully because police are on the road and we are enforcing. But in terms of the other aspects, in like the distracted driving, the ones that don't form an offense, for instance, right away, if a police officer is to see somebody who is not driving the way that they're meant to be, it would be my hope that they would pull them over to find out what's going on with them. And have a conversation and hopefully provide some kind. Prosecution isn't necessarily.
No, I'm saying prosecute where necessary, but educate and say, hey,
right?
Yeah, because it's that partnership. I have I think one of the best places in the world to live, surrounded by people from almost everywhere, and the approach, as I've seen recently, has been more than just academic. And I want to share something quickly as part of a cross-jurisdictional comparison, right? And official data. So this I can't share source because of she's one of those people that just so well known and loved, but for whatever reason wants little or no public accolades, right?
Yeah.
A report from PAHO, and it was talking about how, across the Americas and the like, and she shared that the road safety unit in Jamaica in 2023 recording 425 road fatalities. Fuel, right, by indiscipline and social determinants such as excessive speeding and disregard for road rules. PAHO's comparative data collected by the World Health Organization reveals that Jamaica's road fatality rate of 18 per 100,000 is higher than the average of the region of the Americas at 14 per 1. Why she said that is she's saying that we can learn from just partnerships and we can see, and if we was to look at the sort of statistical analysis here where the population through the census data, through statistics from RCIPS, nothing is new under the sun. So why can't we employ it? And we shared speeding and ill-discipline, distracted driving. So Chief Superintendent, what do we need to do to get us to understand that, an accident that results in death is an accident that hopefully does not have to be repeated?
I think we have been harping on road safety, safe driving, for several years now. Trying to educate people that speeding, drunk driving, careless driving really puts everyone on our roads in danger. And defensive driving is really the way to go. Comply with the laws, be cognizant of other road users around you. So it's all about getting from point A to point B safely.
Right, safely.
Yes. Where are you going with all of this speed?
Yeah.
The island is only 22 miles long.
Well, however many miles of paved roads is still only. Can I ask respectfully, and I asked this in preparation for today's, you use a phrase then that I asked people, defensive driving. What is that?
Defensive is the opposite of offensive.
Right.
But that is really about driving for yourself, complying with all laws, traffic laws, and being cognizant of the other road users around you. In a nutshell, that is all it's about.
As it was explained to my father, you did it almost as well. I was surprised to hear from my contemporaries, so little people older than you, PC probably, to believe, right? Hope that's respectful. Defensive driving, they thought, was almost akin to attacking, right? Because of the word defensive. Now, this just shows the poor and weakness of the English language. And you're driving to protect yourself, cognizant and thing. And the reason why, I'm wondering if when we come out from the break, perhaps our approach is now misinformed, misinterpreted, and misapplied to the extent that we see the aggression, the ill discipline, and whatever that the PAHO report indicated, somehow because of our sort of internalization of what that is. And then can we talk about the campaign and when it starts up? All right.
Sure can. Okay.
The Chief Superintendent and the Police Media Officer, well, thank them for the time, so join us after the break.
It's Digicel's 20th birthday bash, and you're invited. We are giving away 20 phones for 20 years. Win an iPhone or a Samsung smartphone as part of our anniversary celebration. Simply spend $20 or more at Digicel or be an active postpaid customer, and you could be our lucky winner. It's our way of saying thank you for 20 incredible years of connection and support from our amazing customers like you. Don't miss out on this epic celebration. Go to your nearest Digicel store today and join the party. Digicel, better connected.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from March 18th to 23rd at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you are seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 949-9020.
Family Resource Center celebrates the 25th anniversary of Honoring Women Month throughout March with a full calendar of events offered to honor women's accomplishments and build further awareness of the gender-specific issues affecting women and girls. Key events include their International Women's Day Gala on March 8th with keynote speaker Desiree Phillips, who will host 3 additional workshops inspired by this year's theme, #Inspire Inclusion, between March 10th and 13th. On March 9th, the Inspire Her Girls Conference will provide female students aged 13 to 18 years the opportunity to connect and learn from female leaders in the STEM field and other industries. The annual Color Me Purple 5K is on the 24th, where every participant will earn their own medal. Join the Family Resource Center for their full month of celebrations as they recognize this incredible milestone. To view their calendar of events and to register, visit frc.gov.ky.
The Cayman Brac Agriculture Show is back.
18 years strong. Saturday, March 23rd from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the agricultural grounds of Songbird Drive on the Bluff. Tons of fun for the entire family. Animals, antiques, art and crafts, displays. Raffle tickets are $10 and include entry. Travel from Grand Cayman is a breeze with extra same-day flights on Cayman Airways. Check them out on Facebook at Brac Agriculture Show. Don't miss the 18th annual Cayman Brac Agriculture Show, Saturday, March 23rd.
If you can't make the show, tune in to Radio Cayman for coverage throughout the day of the 18th annual Cayman Brac Agriculture Show.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to the the good officers over at RCIPS, and perhaps for the continued partnership with the public to ensure that on the roads we are safe. But if I can, as respectfully as possible, on your behalf and together with you, make an appeal for us as drivers to be a little bit more, is it the word sensible? Is it the word more considerate? Is it a little more educated? I'm not sure the word.
Discipline is the word.
Discipline, sir?
Discipline.
Right. That's Chief Superintendent Bradley Ebanks and his colleague, the police media officer, Ms. Jodianne Purry. Discipline, sir. Okay, I make a distinction between disciplined and motivated in that we want to do things when we want to exercise if we feel like, but if we're disciplined, rain or shine, whether we feel like or not, we go to exercise as we would study. So discipline in this context, what does that mean? I mean,
complying with all laws,
okay,
all traffic laws, and again, having consideration for the other road users. And in a nutshell,
yeah,
I think if we go along those lines, we should be okay.
So a much better
everybody's
word.
business
Yeah.
about road safety.
Better than respect and considerate. I like that word, discipline. May I then ask, only again for my benefit, because if I ride my bicycle or if I'm running or walking on the roads, I want to be safe, but I want other road users to recognize that that's somebody on the road and not see that as an issue, but be considerate, be careful. On our roads, we have many different types of road users for different reasons. The person, and I recognize that it is increasingly a challenge. So on behalf of one of those two individuals that I mentioned earlier, she shared, bought her son a scooter when he was just a little thing, the electric thing you get on and you ride around the neighborhood, and was told, nope, you can't go on the road with that because that's only for the neighborhood, and only if the neighborhood is not a public road.
Got it.
To now, it's a business. You pay to use it, and it's zooming up and down, and whatever the reasons are. And she does not know what to do because, A, this thing is on the road, zooming faster than her and pushing her off the road. But secondly, when she goes to spaces to park, this thing is now parked in a parking space or laid down as if it's a vehicle with every right to be in that space. I don't have an answer for her, sir. I do not have an answer that, so is that part of the issue? We don't know what's allowed on the road. We're allowing things that shouldn't be on the road. Which is it?
The long and short of the answer for that is, and I'm assuming that you're speaking about those electronic scooters and bicycles, the electric
non-licensed and insured,
right,
identifiable vehicles that can be accessed from one spot to the next, other than through manual power.
Right. And the long and short of it is that we've been in communications with various partners, that being the ODPP, and as well as the DVDL, to try to categorize these vehicles in order for them to be implemented in the law. But that obviously takes some time, and it's something that is being worked on. It's an issue that we've heard and we've identified, and it's not being ignored. But it does take some time for us to make legislative changes in order for us to have regulations for those particular vehicles. At the moment, though, those vehicles, they operate as bicycles would, which means that they should not be in the pedestrian lane. They should be in a cycling lane if one is available, or they should be operating as a vehicle does on the roadway.
Not on the sidewalk.
Not on the sidewalk. Not, while people are jogging on the sidewalk, or a mother is walking with her baby stroller, that kind of thing, to run them off the sidewalk. They're not meant to be on the sidewalk. They're meant to go with the flow of traffic
and obey the traffic rules
and
as a bicycle.
All the traffic rules as a bicycle would.
Okay, so a bicycle, my understanding is you ride your bicycle.
A bicycle is a vehicle under the law.
Right, and you must stop at a stop sign, act
Yes.
like a vehicle.
Yes.
Use your hand signals to
Right.
indicate both for your safety, but as well.
Yes.
So these things, because some of these.
But I want you to also
Yes, ma'am.
understand that we don't have any regulations in order for us to ticket bicycle users in the law, for instance. So we can have a conversation with somebody who is operating one of these vehicles, and in the event that something does happen, then there's an offense called a Reckless and Dangerous Act, and that's something that we can implement after the fact.
Right.
But otherwise, we can only have a conversation.
So even though they are on the road, they can accelerate quite quickly. I've seen them at the Butterfield roundabout, zooming through, and cars are coming in. I'll be honest with you, I'm going, oh goodness, this person is going to get crushed by that big semi-truck. Thankful that didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
But one day I saw the truck jam brakes, and I thought, that truck's going to jackknife.
Yeah. Sometimes having a conversation could be something that is useful and beneficial. And so if you see something that is dangerous, by all means, please do call.
Yes, ma'am.
Make a report.
Okay. So let me ask, just if I may, just because I promised that I would ask today, and if you know who she was, she go to class tomorrow, he didn't follow me as a good student and ask questions. So 2 questions in relation to that. A bicycle in the past had to have a license. It used to be $2. Is that bicycle still have to be licensed now or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think it's something that is practiced
No,
anymore.
not enforced, but by law, does it exist?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I would have to come back to you on that.
No, would you? And then secondly, with respect to that, sorry, Chief Superintendent, did you? I didn't want to.
I just wanted to try to get back on the primary topic that we're on before we run out of time.
Be able to. No, sorry. Yes, sorry.
All right.
Because
okay, so I'm just mindful of time, but in the last 24 hours, we saw 2 road fatalities, which will have tremendous effects on families, whether it's locally or internationally. So I just want to stress really that this campaign, these efforts are about curtailing the serious offenses that cause serious accidents or fatalities, again, which is driving while under the influence or driving under the influence, speeding and careless driving, right? Those are our primary offenses that we'll be looking at. Secondary, cell phones, driving without due care attention. We'll also be looking at tint as well. But right at the moment, what we're trying to do is to minimize as much as possible road fatalities and serious accidents on our roads. Me personally, I would say that our driving culture has deteriorated tremendously in the Cayman Islands, whether it's homegrown or imported.
could we say whether or not that's been, as some have alleged, since COVID? Only reason is to see whether there's a correlation between international practices, population growth, free for all. However, as social scientists, do we determine anything that may have been sort of suggestive of impacts?
Well, with some figures here, in 2017, for instance, we had over 2,700 collisions for the year. But in 2020, when
there was nobody on the road.
Happening, there was still over 2,000 collisions on the road, always a decrease. But in 2021, there were 2,600 in comparison to 2017 prior to COVID. So I don't think that, I think that we've always had a population with a multicultural population. And whether or not it has been a contributing factor to collisions on the island is irrelevant, in my opinion, because it's our responsibility as individuals to ensure that we're doing the right thing. And by the right thing, it means that we're practicing good driving behavior. And I feel like all jurisdictions have a standard of driving that they expect from their drivers. And so it's over time that we develop the bad habits with cutting corners or whatever the case may be. But that being said, it is still a personal accountability.
It's interesting we share that because I think Chief Susan, some of you shared, reminds me of what this lady as an educator indicated. In the UK, there is a strong police presence in terms of enforcement and education, not necessarily, but a cultural ethos that says when you drive in this space, in this lane, this is the expectation, because society is sort of determinant factor, not the fear of prosecution, but the understanding of what contributes to road safety. So, PC Power, I think you are correct. And this may be a misunderstanding. So your efforts are compounded by us as the public being either uncooperative or unaware, thinking that, this isn't an offense or this isn't impactful in a negative way when it is.
So for 2023, we've had just under 3,200 motor vehicle accidents. That's under 3,200.
Wow.
Out of those, around 400 were serious. Around 400. I'm not going to give a
Yes, sir.
Exact figure. And just shy of 2,800 fender benders or miscellaneous accidents. That is a lot of accidents. So what I need the public to understand is that as the population grows, that there will be increased in vehicular traffic, which means that we have to be more and more attentive to our driving.
Mm-hmm.
Real and truly, drivers should pay 100% attention to their driving.
Yeah.
Not distracted, not speeding, not careless, not driving under the influence. It is a big responsibility. What I see more and more are people speeding, especially in these small vehicles, these import vehicles that do not meet safety standards. I want to make it clear. I want to say this. Vehicle is not a toy.
When you share that they do not meet safety standards, in what way? These small vehicles, like
small vehicles, they do not meet certain safety standards, say as vehicles coming out of the U.S. or Canada. Certain small vehicles imported from, say, Japan, for instance, some of them do not meet safety standards.
Yeah, from what? I mean, because we see increasingly safety standards, getting there in terms of collision avoidance, automatic braking, but
some of them do not have airbags, for instance. Some of them are just simply not built to standard. I can provide you with information.
No, exactly, because we're buying these vehicles and maybe we don't realize because they cost $1 or as opposed to okay.
In fact, you would have seen government put a restriction on years, certain year of vehicle that can be imported, and that was one of the reasons.
Okay. See, information that is informative and timely may be instructive.
Yeah.
All right. This is where I think the community helps if we understand that this isn't about punishment. This is about saving lives.
Absolutely.
Lives. Yes.
And it's always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
We've always put education at the forefront, and enforcement follows.
Mm-hmm.
And this today, our appearance here, telling you that this is what we're seeing, this is what we expect you to do, this is our way of educating you, so that you're not surprised when Friday morning comes and our officers are out there and you get a ticket because you're misbehaving on the road.
I think as parents, we set an example for our children in all we do, how we drive, how we approach things, perhaps as, leading by example. As police officers in uniform in police vehicles, we'll see the same level of sort of example as, how we should be on the road, so that the culture shifts to one of compliance, of safety. Yeah, there's promise.
I'll draw an example. When I was a boy growing up, whenever there was a fatal accident, the whole Cayman Islands drove, I would say, everyone was so careful because of what had happened. Today, the minute you release the scene, you see people speeding past like nothing has happened. And not that they don't know, because social media these days, within 2 hours, 3 hours, who don't want to know, still knows, right? So people know in really quick time that something terrible has happened.
Wow.
Right? But
it's a sobering thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a reality.
It's like this police siren, right? Back in the day, you heard it and it's concerned you as to what is happening in your communities. Now you hear it and it's incessant, and it's no longer resonates with you. I say the police siren, the siren in general. Much like that.
Yeah.
We no longer have that.
You're desensitized.
Is that the word?
Yes.
Yes. You're desensitized to it because incidents are so frequent now that it's almost a norm.
So what's the answer?
Well, I don't know. What is the answer?
Discipline. I have another word, but I wait till I become governor. No, but this is our responsibility. I tried my best to ask us to pay attention because we each have a role to play. And it doesn't matter if it's just an inadvertent, act that offend the bender. It delays you, it costs you, there's an impact. God forbid if it's something more serious than our life is lost.
Yeah.
How do we avoid that?
I have.
Yes, sir.
I have a challenge for your listening audience. For this Easter weekend and for the rest of the year, when you make plans to go out, make plans to be safe on the road. Discuss with your friends, discuss with your families what you're going to do to make our road safer. Don't think about how fast you're going to get somewhere. Don't think about, going out to the bars and drinking beyond the limit. If you're going to do that, then have a plan to get home. Have a designated driver. Yeah? So that is a challenge for me to the community.
Right.
Let us discuss what part you're going to play in making our roads safer for
And-
2024.
And just to add to that, if you are appointed a designated driver, please make sure that you stick to that, because you have the lives of all your friends and potentially your family in your hands. So if you decide that you are appointed designated driver but you want to drink because everybody else is having fun, that's not the role of the designated driver, and you don't have to drink to have fun.
I recognize the time, and I was going to lead us for another conversation later on when we come back and talk about, driving and safety and, drink driving. But just to clarify, an individual shared, someone known to us that in the past, it was the understanding that if you were in a vehicle sober, but there was a drunk person in the vehicle with you, not drinking, but they were drunk, his perception and understanding was you could be charged because there's a drunk person. But with the designated driver campaign, that technically, legally, that's not being enforced. Is that true?
No. The issue then would be if that person is out of control in your vehicle and is causing a danger to you driving.
Right.
But if you have not had a single drink and you are
you're the designated driver.
Designated driver, and you haven't been drinking and you're driving home somebody that has been drinking, but there's no open alcohol in the vehicle anywhere, you are no offense committed.
Okay.
Other than that, that would
defeat the purpose.
Defeat the purpose.
It negates the whole thing.
Driver,
but I brought something out to ask after. Right.
However, that person should not be drinking alcohol in the vehicle.
No drinking in the vehicle. Everybody's as best as possible. Okay. And I'll explain why, because I saw the consequence of it as he explained it. Perhaps inspired by PC Power, Chief Superintendent, I'll answer your challenge by offering an invitation to the public. Let's be accountable individually. Many of us are knowingly driving vehicles that we know are on-road worthy. They're not inspected, they're not licensed, they're not insured. We ourselves, as the road user driver, are not licensed, and yet we persist on our roads. Could we, check our partners, check ourselves, and maybe desist from that? It's a sense of social consciousness and awareness.
Yes.
However, we're facilitating that. Now, maybe we can desist. So your challenge raised by an invitation. Let's see if collectively we make a difference.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely?
Yes.
I like the sounds of that.
Yeah, we should be holding each other accountable for their actions. So that being said, if you are a passenger in a vehicle and you realize that their driver has been drinking, don't go. Or speeding. Yeah.
Indeed.
If you're in the vehicle and your driver is speeding, tell them to slow down. Tell them to go the speed limit. Tell them to let you out.
But thank you for letting us have this conversation, but also being willing to share directly some of the sobering facts. And through your challenge, maybe we'll raise the bar and be safe on the roads. Closing thoughts, Chief Superintendent?
Just to say that our efforts are, again, to make the road safer. The main objective is not to prosecute as many people as possible, but again, just for safer roads for the Cayman Islands. And just for everyone to have a safe Easter and the rest of 2024. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mom. And I hope you will accept the challenge.
There are a few items that we didn't get to today, so I just encourage everyone to pay attention to our website and look at our press releases where the Easter holiday is concerned for some tips on camping, home safety, and personal safety and safety of your children, etc. while you're on the holidays.
Thank you both. Your work I think is untiring, but thank you for doing all this.
Okay, thank you much. Thanks for having us.
To our listeners, join us. We start in the morning for the record and come back for talk today at 1 o'clock, after we have a fantastic discussion about Poinciana. Caribbean economist, the noted Marla Dukern, will be our guest. Have a wonderful afternoon, and looking forward to you join us tomorrow.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.